All right, today I want to break down a real email I received just the other day. It's a clean water campaign. Now, let's jump into it. So, look, the second I opened it, I spotted a handful of different things that I would fix straight away. And this is the work that we do here at Build Better. We identify, research, edit, and send somewhere between 30 to 40 emails every single month for impact organization. So let me jump in and I'm going to open up the email and I'm going to share it with you guys. Let's jump in. You should be able to see that on my screen any second now. The campaign looks like this. It's got a cover, a banner image at the top, right? So it's slightly big banner image at the top with an image there and the kind of some branding and some text. It's got the kind of H1 tag header, which is bringing clean water closer to home. It's got 3 paragraphs of text. And then a button here. This button actually is red color with black text. I don't know why here on the PDF it's showing as white, but consider that to be red with white. And then it's got again, obviously you're seeing it as a PDF version, but on email there's no kind of page breaks. Then you've got a cover image there, another button, some more 2 paragraphs of text, and then 1 more button. Now let's jump into it. First things first, the subject line, right? The subject line is bringing clean water closer to home. The header is also bringing clean water closer to home. You want to say something different. Now, when I look at this campaign, it's basically about a mother who has 2 children with disabilities. There's unfortunately some floods, and clean access to clean water basically became a challenge for her. The charity came in, they fundraised, they're able to build a solar powered water well, and now she just finds it easier because she can now access water much faster. That's the story in the campaign. Unfortunately, the header nor the subject line says that. So what I would do here is I would make sure that the cover image and the header has a what I call this then that what now, right? So basically this concept of, well, this was the situation, that's what happened, right? And this is now what's happening, right? So this is what used to happen and what the situation was. That's what happened. We built a solar powered water well, and here's what's happening right now. She can basically access clean water much faster. A simple thing we could do here is kind of show like, hey, she used to walk 2,000 steps. Now she walks 200 steps. A comparison there. So that's one of the first things I do. And I would open up the email with the very heading, something like that. So there's some wasted kind of opportunity there. Also with the banner image, it says Shana's baby story, but it's not actually telling us anything about the story. So I'm not seeing any water well there. I'm not seeing her drinking water there. I'm having to work to figure out what's going on here. Secondly, bringing clean water closer to home. When I, as a subject receiving the email, so the person receiving the email, am reading that, I'm thinking, well, is it my home? Because I'm living in the UK, so it's definitely not for me, right? So there's a bit of a disconnection there. Okay, so that's that. We talked about the cover image already. Next, let's talk about the body, right? So you've got 3 paragraphs of text here. Now, there's a quote in here, by the way, right? And the quote is from Shanaz herself. And she says, since the installation of the solar water well, fetching clean water has become easier. We have buried this within the email. That's not what we want to do. In fact, what we want to do is we want to take that out of the kind of body of the text and maybe even give it its own space, its own static image or something like that, right? So we definitely want to do that. We don't want to kind of bury that there. Number 3, I would say, is a bit of a kind of usual kind of rule that we have here, and we tell all of our clients, is that your buttons need to be huge. The bigger the button, the more the clicks. So all these buttons, we've got 3 buttons here. They got to be, at least, as much as possible width to width. They've got to be big. They've got to be bold. Number 4, there is no quantifiable measure or quantifiable kind of attraction for me in this email. I'm not seeing anything here that's kind of like telling me exactly, well, how many people are going to be supported through this clean water, nor am I getting any sense of like how much does this even cost. So instead of like build a water well, I would have maybe put it like, give people like Shanaz a water well for just £159, or provide clean water to 300 people for 6 months for X amount. Or even if you didn't do that, you at least do one quantifiable number. So let's put numbers behind it, right? Because there's nothing quantifiable in here. There's no metrics. There's no scale. We are not quantifying success. We are not quantifying outputs and outcomes. And so we're usually telling, not showing. And the rule is show, don't tell. Okay. But obviously make sure another rule that we have is make sure it's true, make sure it's accurate, honest, and true. Next up, the email, when you open it, feels like it's an email about clean water. So it sounds like it's a fundraising campaign for clean water, but actually it's not. If you read the whole email, it's three different things happening. One, there is a call to action about building a water well. Two, there's a kind of message about uh, Qurbani. There's a Qurbani Eid celebration message, and then there's a Qurbani call to action, right? One of the biggest kind of calamities, I would say, when it comes to us thinking about emails, is that we have too many conflictive call to actions. And so it opens up as one email, then it turns to another something else, and it turns to something else by the end of the email. Now, I know exactly what happened here. We've rebuilt dozens of charity campaigns that started off with this exact issue. So whoever was kind of putting this together probably was thinking, well, I don't want to send too many emails, so let's basically take 2-3 different things and clump them together into one condensed email. It will mean that we don't have to send too many emails to the donor, to the audience, and it means that they don't get too many annoying emails from us. But I will tell you this. I'm going to look at my email today. I'm just going to open it up right now, and I'm going to count. I'm going to show it on the screen just because I've got loads of emails there. But I'm going to open up my email right now. Hand on heart, I'm doing it. 7:57. I'm recording this at 8:16 p.m. On a Saturday. So the last email I got was from Chase Chappell at 7:57 p.m. And if I go back 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, about 35 emails I've received today. Now, ask me, how many emails have I unsubscribed to today? The answer is 0. And I guarantee, you watching this right now, you're in the same position. You've received loads of emails today from random places, but you also have not unsubscribed. So this is proof that people do not unsubscribe because they get too many emails. They unsubscribe when they get an email from a company that they absolutely hate or they think is wasting their time, right? Because most people have become somewhat okay and desensitized to getting emails. They just get them and they just open and they close and they just move on. So please stop fearing frequency, okay? And by the Eid Mubarak message, it probably deserves its own complete send because people love celebratory emails. Now, let's move to that Eid Mubarak section here, right? Now, this part here, when I first saw it here, I looked at the image and I was like, well, the header above says Eid Mubarak from the families you supported. But then I look at the image and I'm like, well, where are the people that I supported? And I'm going to just show you on the screen here. What we could have done here, right, which would have been really, really cool, I think, to do, was actually show this. So have a look at this, right? And just check this out, right? Like this button and this kind of Eid Mubarak message, when you click on it on the email, it takes you to this video which has a dozen people smiling away. And mashallah, it's so beautiful to see because it shows proof of work. It shows that we've gone ahead and we've supported these people, right? Now, what I would have done is I would have basically made sure, let me bring up the email again. What I would have made sure then is that here, right here in this kind of section right now, instead of putting this image, which kind of has an overlay of Eid Mubarak from Gaza, what I would have done is I would have taken a collage of all those different faces with permission, of course, and I would have put them there, right? Because instantly that adds human faces, real human faces, especially in this world of AI, real human faces which build trust, build value, and build that relationship. And I would have put that there. Okay, next. When I'm looking through this email, I'm asking myself, is this optimized for mobile? Because like we know, 95% or 90% of people will be reading this on mobile. And so like if I look at this, the banner to the text, to the subject, the banner to the header, to the body, to the button, they're all different sizes, right? And you don't want to do that. You want to primarily keep as much of it, edge to edge, running down the screen. Okay, so that's really important. Now look, none of these are huge changes on their own. But when you do all of these together, it's the subject line, the button size, the quote being pulled out, splitting the email into 2 rather than 1, instead of stacking it all together and making it flat, that's really what will turn this into a really, really good email. And that's the gap that we try to close here every day at Build Better for impact organizations. And inshallah, I will try deep dive on another email next week. Until then, keep building better charities.